cover up. Ali wanted to cleanse himself while out against the rope. But Ali fell flat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast here. Gio Garcia alongside Christian Mosqueda. And of course, another big show, man. Another big weekend in boxing. Of course, one of the biggest cards of the year. You guys see it there on your screen. You see it there on the title. Alexander Usyk against Anthony Joshua, number 2, the rematch. We're going to hop right into it. Chris, go ahead. Take it away.
This was a very anticipated rematch. Joshua didn't want to waste no time. He didn't want no guys in between. He wanted to go straight into it. And a very, very, good fight. This is the event that I said I was looking forward to the most. I know there's another one on the horizon, but yeah, man, this one didn't disappoint, man. I gotta ask you, what were your thoughts on this? What was your thoughts on Joshua's performance, on Usyk's performance? Was it what you expected, Gio?
Well, I'll let you start first because I have a lot to say. So,
yeah, all right. I'll start out with saying, the man I thought was gonna win won. It was his skills on display once again. Usyk just has Joshua's number, and even though this was a much better version of a Joshua, it was still Usyk, and Usyk overcame some trouble in one of those 2 rounds, but it's something I expected. Usyk just did what he had to do in there with his boxing abilities, and he was just a better man.
Yeah, how did you score it? How did you score the fight? Obviously,
I actually had 9-3. 9-3. It could have gone 8-4, but that's being generous. But 9-3 seems seemed right in my opinion. It was competitive, but it was still Usyk edging out almost every single round in my opinion, except for that I believe it was 8th or 9th, where it was clearly Joshua. And I'm not gonna lie, it got me a little nervous. He looked really good, probably the best round of all 24 rounds. But Usyk.
All right, Chris. That was a simple question. But yeah, let us know how you guys scored it in the chat. I don't think Chris watched it. It was a split decision, 115, 113 apiece, and then 116, 112 was the tiebreaker there. I thought it was very close. Surprised that Usyk was hurt that many times in this fight. In the first fight, I think the difference was Usyk was able to hurt Joshua, able to push him back. In this fight, it was kind of the complete opposite. Usyk wasn't able to hurt Joshua at all. And Joshua had that big 9th round, like you stated, Chris. Usyk looked a little bit in trouble. But I think ultimately it was the volume punching by Alexander Usyk, the stamina that ultimately won the fight for him. I thought it was a lot closer. Because there was one man constantly getting hurt throughout this fight. Not surprised that it was a body punch. We knew Robert was going to work on that. And Joshua obviously has the reach advantage. So not surprised by that. But yeah, I thought it was a close fight. I have to watch it again to be able to say a scorecard. Watching it live, I thought it could have been a draw. But I think Alexander Usyk finished those last 3 rounds very strong. And just like he did in the first fight, right? Barely edged it out. I think Joshua was clearly frustrated, but I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of. I think in these 24 rounds that he went at it with Usyk, he was able to win 10 rounds, 11 rounds. So I don't think that's bad at all, winning 10 or 11 rounds out of 24. So, but I think ultimately the difference was the volume punching, the stamina, the experience of Alexander Usyk. I was a bit disappointed in his performance, I must say. He didn't look good. Like I said, he was hurt against Joshua, who really didn't make many changes, honestly. I think in the first half of the fight, he was out there looking like Canelo, moving his waist, not landing much, but moving his waist, avoiding a lot of punches. The body work was constant. Usyk didn't always seem to have an answer for that. But, yeah, that ninth round was the big one. But ultimately, I don't think Joshua threw enough punches and landed enough punches to have his hand raised. But this was a close one.
I can clearly see you have a bias towards AJ, and there's nothing wrong with that, Gio. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why I said I saw Usyk winning 9-3, but I did have a little bias in there. So, like, if I had to be objective, I would say at best 8-4. But no, I mean, of course, Usyk's not gonna look completely good in there. He's got a 6'5" guy, muscle bound, stronger than him. Anything that AJ throws, it's gonna bother him. It's gonna bother him, Gio. But like, I didn't see AJ landing other than that 8th, 9th round. Like, he wasn't as accurate as Usyk, and we know that. But yeah, again, I agree. AJ did have he should be commended for his performance, because anybody else could have taken another opponent, could have taken an easier southpaw, could have, get back into that winning mentality, that mind frame, and he call it pride, call it honor, call it I gotta run it back ASAP. AJ went back right away, and he tried. That's all I can say. He tried. I just see Usyk having his number. It's just Usyk is just the more accurate. Like you said, busier. When you're lighter, you're gonna be busier. I know AJ we'll talk about that meltdown a little bit later. He is a big guy. He does have a big frame. He cannot throw as many punches as the smaller Usyk. So again, you got to commend him for just staying in there, believing in himself, and trying.
All right, let's go to some comments here. Let's see what the people are saying in the chat. Get out of here, Chris. You had bias for Usyk from the beginning, saying he's going to win by KO. Now giving yourself credit for picking the winner, which was a favorite. Yeah, I mean, Chris with the hot takes. He tells us that the sky is blue, right? But kind of going back to the topic of last weekend, you said you had Usyk over Fury as the heavyweight, the best heavyweight of this generation. And I think this fight kind of put all that to rest. Usyk, like I stated, he got hurt several times in this fight. I was very surprised by that, especially against a guy who's not known to be a boxer. Just imagine, I mean, Chris was saying he's fighting a bigger guy and stronger guy. Now imagine a guy 3 inches taller, 20 pounds heavier, and 10 times a better boxer than Joshua, right? Imagine facing that guy. And yeah, I think you saw Tyson Fury's reaction after the fight, saying both guys were shite, saying he would take them on both. That retirement, quote unquote, didn't last long. I don't know if he comes back, and if he comes back to fight Usyk. Usyk stated that after the fight that if he's not fighting Fury, then he's not fighting at all. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think Usyk would be in big trouble if Fury is his next opponent. I mean, just imagine a guy with the power of Joshua, but the boxing skills of Usyk. That's trouble for the Ukrainian.
I gotta ask you, Gio, is there anything Joshua could have done different? We did talk about the having Robert Garcia in that corner, him being a factor. I was a little surprised that he took, he was like the second trainer in that corner. He was really the main one. I felt like AJ had the best success when he implemented a more Robert Garcia, type of round. That round where he had the most success, I felt like that was Robert Robert Garcia stamp all over it. Do you feel like should he have come in a little bit lighter? Should he have taken more chances like he did that round? What are your thoughts?
I don't look at those things. I think both guys fought their fight. It was more of a chess match. Obviously, one guy has superior skills. We knew that coming into it. So I don't like getting into those things. I mean, and anyone in any fight can say, "Oh, he should have done this. He should have done that." But we're not the ones in there taking the punches. So I think he had a very good effort. I just think, look, he's fighting a better fighter. I think that's just what it is. I would have liked for him to go for broke, right? Especially in those last rounds. But we saw when he tried to go for it last time out, he ended up against the ropes. He ended the fight against the ropes because Usyk just has better stamina and better boxing skills. So I think Joshua fought a good fight. Like Big Bro says, no shame in losing to a better boxer, future Hall of Famer, and the current pound-for-pound #1, right? So a lot of people consider Usyk the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So Joshua made 2 attempts, didn't come out victorious, but I think I've seen the improvements in Joshua. This guy was actually moving with his waist, moving his head that first half of the fight until he got tired. He was getting low. He was avoiding punches. But yeah, I think Usyk's experience was too much. Now, Jesus doesn't seem too happy. He says Usyk landing those patty cake punches, which, yeah, I think there came a point where Usyk realized, hey, I can't hurt this guy. Let's just win the round, score points, and call it a day, right? And I think on the contrary, I think Joshua found out that, hey, this guy can't hurt me. This guy can't hurt me, and he was kind of walking him down, but the jab, the activity by Usyk was still a problem. So it was an okay fight. I expected better from both, but yeah, I don't know where this takes both of their careers in their next fights. I know a lot of guys are making comebacks. Wilder now has a fight scheduled against Hellenius, and Tyson Fury said he wants these guys. He can take both of these guys at the same time, and Andy Ruiz is fighting King Kong Ortiz. So there's a lot of action right now in the heavyweight division, but I think there's 2 clear guys at the top, and that's the Ukrainian that you guys see on the left side of your screen, and the man who claims to be retired, Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Before we move on to that, man, we have to talk about the meltdown. What were your thoughts on Anthony and Joshua first exiting the ring, throwing the belts out? Usyk's belts, these are Usyk's belts that he won, 10 months ago, and then pretty much taking the mic and giving a loser's winner speech, man. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the belts are random. I don't know what happened there. The other part I have no issue with. I agree with Jesus' comment earlier. He says, no AJ meltdown. People complain of AJ being too nice before and after fights, especially in Reese 1. And now he got emotional. Go ahead, AJ, do it again. Yeah, I mean, people complain that he was too nice. Now they're saying he's too mean. Look, I don't care, man. Look, if you're a competitor, you react certain ways. He was clearly very emotional, disappointed, frustrated, even in the post-fight press conference, shed some tears. Yeah, I think the only part I didn't understand was the belts. I don't know what was said there and why they were tossed, but yeah, I think it added to the drama. I think it made the show ultimately better because the fight wasn't that great. So I think the biggest talking point of the fight was this, because there wasn't much action in the ring.
Yeah, like for my take, I get it. He's human. He got emotional. He's on adrenaline. The fight just ended. At first, when I saw him walking out, I thought that was a sportsmanlike, and I saw him coming back. I was like, all right. But then I saw what he said, and I was like, man, he should have just walked out. Again, I think as athletes at that level, like you said, he tends to take the mic and he tends to be nice. This time, my problem is that he always tends to take the mic. He always wants to input himself it wasn't his moment. It was Usyk's moment. I know Usyk has a language barrier. He can't really, give a speech in English like AJ can, but I think AJ should have just kept it short. He started talking about himself, about coming into the sport late. I don't know, man. It sounded like he was looking for like pity party type, and yeah, it kind of takes away from his effort. Should have kept it short. I know he gave Usyk props. Should have left it at that. And again, I get it. You're human. His mentality is that of a winner. You don't ever want to lose, especially on that stage. That very close to regaining the title. But yeah, in my opinion, just keep it short.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think it added to the drama of the event.
Yeah.
I didn't care too much for it, honestly. I know AJ kind of gets like that Canelo treatment, right? A lot of people like to criticize his every move. I don't know. I think if it was anyone else, no one would care. But because it's Anthony Joshua, people have something to say, And yeah, I think people are highlighting the negativity. He did, also offer Usyk help with the Ukraine and things like that. He was holding up the Ukraine flag. So not everything was negative, but obviously it's Joshua. So that's what people are going to highlight. And it was just a little odd, in my opinion. I don't know what was going on, but it was entertaining to me. I don't know. I didn't care too much for it.
It was just a lot. It was a lot of good, a lot of cringe, some good cringe. I don't know. It was. I think maybe that's why Tyson Fury said it was shit. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, look, Usyk didn't care. He just looked at him and continued and held his flag and then did the post-fight interview. Yeah. So I just think I saw a lot of people talking about it, and it was like the people who've been criticizing Anthony Joshua. So it's like, man, who cares? You're not a star like him, so why are you talking type thing? But I don't know. Everybody reacts different ways, and I didn't understand the way he acted, but I'm not going to judge him for it either because, hey, I saw the fight. It was cool. We all need a little bit of WWE in these events, man. I think it just adds to the drama of everything. And going to some comments, I don't think people care that much, honestly. Big Bro says, agree with Jesus. He had a moment of emotion. Who cares what people think? They're not in the shoes and don't know the pressure he faces being AJ. And I don't know. I can only assume, but I think it was that pressure of, look, I lost to this guy. There's a lot of money on the table. There's big fights on the table. I think he mentioned something about the Fury fight or alluded to the Fury fight. Now it seems gone when they pretty much had it set, right? Until Wilder came in and decided that he wanted to get knocked out again. That fight was set. And Wilder was like, no, knock me out again, Tyson Fury. I want to get beat for the third time, but it was going to be the biggest fight in British history. Wembley Stadium, I'm sure, sold out, tons of money. They would have probably made more than one fight happen, right? And they ended up fighting other guys. Fury had other compromises. Of course, Wilder's team got involved, and legally they had to oblige, man. They had that contract, so now it seems like that fight, it's not as interesting as before. It might be gone forever. Fury's now looking at Usyk, so I think part of that was it too, and just waiting to fight Usyk again. And I feel like Joshua let himself down in this fight. I feel like he could have done more, and probably when he watches this, he's going to be like, damn, I should have just gone for it, especially in that 9th round. But yeah, I didn't care too much about the quote-unquote meltdown. Thought it was a little odd, but Usyk didn't care. He just looked at him and kept on about his business. He was feel. He was feel. He was very feel.
He was very feel. Usyk's very respectful in there, so I'm sure he didn't understand half of the stuff Joshua was saying. But yeah, I don't know if you saw Loma with his little fisherman hat was in there. He was also trying to console AJ. And obviously Loma's a little guy, AJ's towering figure. He kind of pushed him around a little bit, but again, it's the emotion.
I saw that.
I just pushed him around. I was like, you don't do that to my boy Loma, but it's all right. It's adrenaline running, so yeah.
All right, let's go to some
I don't know.
comments real quick. Let's go to some comments real quick. Max, shout out to Max. He says, Aram said he plans on doing the fight in December or early next year. Big Bro says he saw an interview with Bob. He told Terrible in a recent interview, either December, but most likely February, to avoid competition with the World Cup. Of course, that's coming up this winter. Big Bro says Usyk beats Fury. He better not keep ducking. Never forget Cunningham and Wall In had him on the brink of a KO loss, says Big Bro. Jason says Usyk came from defending his country against Russia. Talk about mental strength. Yeah.
Yep, and I think that's what people were hinting at. Like, Joshua was saying that, I just came to the sport late. He was saying his 2 bits. But, obviously Usyk has been going through something none of us will probably ever go through. His war-torn country being invaded. He has seen bombs going off, death. He's seen that.
Look,
he's walked through.
I know I don't want to be that guy, but he's not on the front lines. So, come on.
He's not on the front lines, but he's seeing pictures. He's seeing the rubble. Hey.
What if Anthony Joshua looked at the pictures too?
Yeah, he's not on the front lines, but his.
I know what people mean, but I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we'll never go through that. We're blessed that we probably will never go through that in our home soil. So it's something only he is experiencing, and of course he took the fight because he's trying to bring hope to his people. Again, that's something that none of us will probably ever have to deal with, but he's doing it as best he can, and bringing home, defending those titles is only gonna.
All right, Chris. All right, Chris. Keep it short.
Keep it short.
Mac,
hey, but something I want to bring up about
Chris, let's go to some comments. Hold up. You've been talking for I don't know how long. I don't even know what you said, but yeah. Max says AJ massively improved where Robert would have gotten stopped otherwise. Big Bro says even more credit to Canelo for always showing poise with that similar pressure as AJ. Only superstars face that kind of pressure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's only a few guys in the world in boxing who go through that type of pressure. So you hear the world talking, criticizing, but hey, most of those guys will never get to the status of Anthony Joshua. So I don't think they'll ever feel what he's feeling. Still, as when you look at like sportsmanship, of course you don't want to see that. I think the red flag was like I said, the belt tossing. I still don't understand what happened there. Honestly, that was kind of random, but who knows? Hopefully we get some footage with some audio, man, because there's been a lot of footage, including the one you said, Chris, about Loma kind of getting pushed a little bit. But yeah, hopefully some more footage comes out from different angles and all that. And then just some last few comments here. RX Speed checking in. He said, "Say di algo constructivo." That's what he says. That's your advice of the day. Big Bro says he said it after talking about AJ. He was frustrated and mad for losing, even though he felt he did everything he could. The one judge giving him the W made it worse because I'm sure he got his hopes up, thinking he might have got the W. Yeah?
Yeah. Of course, Anthony Joshua does face a lot of pressure that, a lot of other fighters don't.
99% of fighters don't, Chris. 99.8 to be exact.
No, but again, he is British. We've said it. The British people are some of the most fervent fan bases in the world. There's a Hispanic fan base. British are pretty much the
here we go with this shit. All right, what was your question before, Chris?
I was going to bring up, I don't know if you saw the news, Tyson Fury did set a 7-day deadline if they wanted him to come out of retirement to face Alexander Usyk.
Taking a page out of Jake Paul's book, huh?
He posted on social media For all these suitors out there that want to make the fight, I'm going to give you all 7 days until September 1st to come up with the money. If not, thank you very much. It's been a blast. I'm retired. And he continues, all offers submitted must be to my lawyer in writing with proof of funds. So let the games begin. And in classic Tyson Fury gypsy style, he's making it known that he wants this fight. Gonna let the powers that be start getting the ball rolling. But he seems comfortable in retirement. But I did say this fight is gonna make Tyson want to come out of retirement. I did predict the knockout. I fell short on that, but
way short. You were not even close. Not even close.
It was enough. It was enough of a win to entice the Gypsy King to want to come out of retirement. And if that fight does happen, I'm not saying it's going to be easy for Usyk. It's going to be the hardest fight of his life.
Another hot take. Another hot take by Chris. Wow.
Based on just skill
what a
alone.
hot take.
Based on just skill alone. just on skill alone. It might be one of those pure boxing fights that not too many people will enjoy, but it's going to pin the two best boxers of the heavyweight division probably ever outside of Ali with skills. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully they give this man his money and we get this.
All right, Chris.
This fight.
Chris. In under 10 seconds, please.
And
in under 10 seconds, please. Does Tyson Fury come back and why?
He does because he wants to be remembered as the best heavyweight of this era. Oh.
Well, he's already that. I mean,
no, he's not. Not until he beats Usyk, the man that beat his stablemate.
What has Usyk done that Tyson Fury hasn't?
Unified a division, undisputed.
Well, obviously, you're talking about cruiserweight.
Hey, he might do it with the heavyweight division. We don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. Okay, Gio, I gotta ask you, after this performance, I know a lot of people, after Canelo losing, anointed Usyk as the number one per pound. Do you anoint him number one pound for pound now, or do you think Canelo still has the case?
No, I think in my eyes, Usyk's stock went down a little bit. I don't know, but I think that's kind of unfair because he had a lot going on. Going into this fight, obviously my prediction was that he was going to win, but I was kind of hoping that AJ would take advantage of the distractions and all the stuff going outside in the ring for Usyk. Obviously, he's seen his people suffer, and when people say, "Oh, this guy's defending his country," and like we say, he's not on the front lines, but I think it's more of an emotional thing, an emotional state where he's thinking about his people going through what they're going through with the war against Russia and trying to defend their land. But I think under all these circumstances, the fight being in Saudi Arabia and foreign soil, obviously Usyk is used to that, but like I stated before, I don't know how his training camp went. Obviously, there's still that war going on. Lomachenko didn't accept the fight with Kambosos. Usyk took the fight with Joshua. Under other circumstances, great win for Usyk. I just wasn't impressed in the ring. So I think he stays where he was already as number 2. But does this... Obviously, I already know the answer, but does this kind of bump him up in your eyes?
To me, yes, it does, because he's the one guy that hasn't lost, and I don't see anybody outside of Tyson Fury beating him.
I think the big difference is Usyk hasn't beat anyone in his weight class who's number 1 or even probably number 2. So.
Have you not followed his cruise? Are you talking about heavyweight or cruiserweight?
Heavyweight and cruiserweight. Let's be honest, that wasn't very impressive. Cruiserweight.
Bro, he retired Gosdick.
He what?
How was that not impressive?
Usyk retired Gosdick. Oh, you got the wrong guy, dude. You got the wrong guy.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong guy. No, look, unifying, being undisputed, sure, it was a weak a weaker division, but it's still hard. It's still difficult to do.
No wonder you got freaking Terrence Crawford as your number 2 or number 3 or whatever. Oh, Chris watches too much ESPN, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, question: If Tyson Fury and then Usyk, if the powers that be were to put this money together and they get the fight going, where do you put this fight? Where did this fight take place? In England, in Las Vegas, or in Saudi Arabia?
I don't think that even matters nowadays because, like, post-pandemic, I think these fighters have just been getting the bag. So I don't even think that matters anymore where it is. I think these 2 fights proved that these guys fight in Saudi Arabia, man. And those guys are throwing a lot of money over there in the Middle East. Obviously, they're hosting the World Cup in Qatar. That whole area, they're trying to become more relevant sports-wise. So I don't think that matters. But the next question would obviously be, who will be the favorite and who do you think will win? If you can answer that in under 30 seconds, please, Chris.
The favorite is Tyson Fury, but I'm gonna go with Alexander Skill's.
Okay, how does he beat Tyson Fury?
By decision, by appointing him, by being busier in the inside the way he was with Joshua.
Well, let me ask you this. I think Tyson Fury probably stops Usyk. I mean, just imagine the punches that Joshua landed, except more accurate and coming from a better fighter. But let me ask you this, though. Deontay Wilder, of course, couldn't stay retired, right? He took a beating last time out. I don't think that's the way he wanted to go out. Fantasy matchup, because I don't think this happens, but if Usyk fights Wilder, do you think Usyk beats Wilder?
I think so. I think he stops him. I think there's a big disparity in skills.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Do you really think Wilder only has one trick?
Hey.
He's not going to land that on Usyk.
You got to avoid that for 12 rounds, especially Usyk not being a power puncher. When I was watching this fight against Joshua, I was telling myself Usyk will struggle against these big heavyweights because he couldn't even keep Joshua off of him, right? Obviously, the jab was effective, but you're fighting against a guy who's been stopped before, who doesn't have the greatest chin, and I don't think that will work against a guy like Wilder. Obviously, one-trick pony, doesn't have much boxing skills, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think Usyk has the power of King Kong Ortiz. Obviously, he's more skillful, but Ortiz almost knocked Wilder out, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. So Wilder actually tried to put his name, in the Usyk sweepstakes, if you want to call it. Tyson Fury hit back and told him pretty much what he, said about, Joshua and Fury. So do I give Wilder a chance? He's got a chance with that right hand, any day. But 3 fights with Fury, I think people kind of figured him out. I think.
Come on, man. Don't compare all these other heavyweights to Tyson Fury. What are you talking about? People figured him out.
Usyk doesn't have the size, and maybe not as fast as Fury, but
he can't come back from the dead like Tyson Fury. That dude woke up like the Undertaker.
Like you said, Deontay Wilder has very limited skills. Alexander Usyk is one of the most accomplished amateurs, and look what he did to Anthony Joshua, a bigger man. You don't have to knock the guy out. You just have to appoint him.
Well, you just said Usyk would knock Wilder out, so I don't know.
He's got sheet defense. Wilder has one of the worst defenses that,
Yeah, we know he blocks punches with his face, but he has a very strong face, Chris.
Very strong face. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, Wilder to me he's still a guy that can mix it in with all those guys. I was actually, as much as we criticize him for getting beat so soundly by Fury, he's still an interesting character to the division, and I don't want to see him go away without getting in there with the Joshuas, getting in there with maybe an Usyk. yeah, he's still an interesting character in the heavyweight division.
Big Bro says Fury beating an old Klitschko and Wilder is not enough to be an all-time top 10 heavyweight. He has to beat Usyk to make that list.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So would you still say Usyk is the best fighter of this, the best heavyweight of this generation over Fury?
I think once he outpoints him.
Yes or no, Chris? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
And like I said, it's not going to be an easy fight. He's got one of the most towering heavyweights to ever step in.
Hold on. I think last week we agree that Wilder was a better opponent than Joshua as far as wins and resumes go?
For Fury?
For anyone. What's better? What's better? Beating Wilder 3 times, knocking him out twice, or outpointing Joshua twice? What's better? And that probably answers my question, right? So Chris doesn't even believe his own statements.
No, to me, it's impressive.
And then if you want to throw in a quote unquote old Klitschko, that's still something.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, I would say beating AJ is more impressive because AJ came in, with the better mindset, the more realistic mindset. I think Wilder was just very delusional. First saying he didn't lose.
This guy's talking about mindsets. What is going on here? Oh my goodness.
At least AJ, took his loss like a man. He's like, I'm gonna come back stronger. I'm gonna come back better.
Big Bro's trying to help you out because you have no idea what you're saying. Big Bro's trying to help you out. Beating AJ's way better resume than Wilder. See, Chris, that's how you make sense there. And AJ's resume is impressive. It's impressive. B checking in, Chris fumbling his words. Yeah, see, Big Bro made a good point. AJ's has a much better resume, so come on, Chris. We should have like what was that one show where you can call people to help you? We should have that on here so Chris can get some help.
Hey, we're trying to get Big Bro on the podcast, but he likes to type.
He was on a few. He was on the Chocolatito Estrada podcast, and he had some hot takes. He's trying to lead by example, Chris. But anyway, anything else to add on this? I know you're very high on Usyk and still are, Chris. So any last words regarding Usyk's victory?
And still, that's all I gotta say. And still, and we gotta start, putting respect on his name. I know the casual doesn't appreciate him, but he's gonna go down as one of the very best.
Yeah, and I that the word you just used, the people who don't watch boxing, throughout the year, who watch 4 or 5 big fights. I heard a lot of comments of people saying it was boring and people didn't like it, which is not surprising, right? People want to see knockouts. People want to see a lot of action, and that's why I didn't mind the post-fight reaction by Anthony Joshua. At least it gives this event, something to talk about, some headlines, more eyes on boxing and all that. So, ultimately, I think a bit disappointing. Heavyweight action is always special. We've seen many historic nights, and I don't think this was one of them, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Wilder, who's fighting Hellenius, like we stated before. Andy Reese is coming up in a couple weeks against King Kong Ortiz. I think that's still a very good fight. But yeah, before we move on, I do want to mention the undercard because our boy from Liverpool, Callum Smith, was on the undercard. And let me tell you, man, Canelo made him look bad. Canelo made him look like a C-class, D-class fighter. But this guy is no chump, man. This guy, I like his style. Not very impressed with his defense, but I think at 175, he's looking good. He's had a couple impressive KOs, and he got another one this time out. So that that's interesting. That's interesting, and eventually, I think he'll get a crack at one of the top guys. They just announced Bivol against Zurdo Ramirez, and that's in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. I believe is November 5th. I'll double check right now. But like we were speaking about that area, man, those guys are stepping up and throwing a lot of money around. So, yeah, that's a big fight, and of course, Beterbiev is still the boogeyman in that division. So I think eventually Callum will face one of those guys, but as of now, he's racking up the W's, the KOs, and he's looking good. I like him at 175, and I like him with Buddy McGirt.
Yeah, and you're not really usually high on these Brits, but yeah, I agree. Callum Smith, he's been having some nice knockout reels, and so like you mentioned, he came up against Canelo. Canelo is gonna make most guys look average. So yeah, we'll see what Callum has. What fights he gets coming up, man.
Look, Big Bro's still helping you, Chris. Wilder was a bronze medalist. AJ was a gold medalist. Wilder was fighting a bunch of nobodies before Ortiz. AJ was fighting contenders and former champions. There you go, Chris. See?
There you go. Yeah, I just, AJ's a good fighter. I just don't like that he said like he's barely came in this game. He's been in the game for 10 plus years, man. That's plenty of time to
yeah, but you can't compare that. Like, if you add up his amateur and pro fights, it'd probably be freaking. I'm not doing the math, but it'd probably be like 1/5 of Usyk's total fights as an amateur and as a professional. So, yeah, I don't think that's. Yeah, he's been in the game for a while, but Usyk's been fighting since he was a kid, man.
He's been fighting freaking bears up in Ukraine. But yeah, let's go, man.
And then Big Bro says Callum gives Beterbiev a better fight than Joe Smith. Yeah, Callum is an interesting. What happened?
He gets 2 extra rounds in, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting fighter. He obviously has that killer left hook. He's a tall guy, 6'4", long, good power. His defense, like I said, a lot of work to do on that department, but when he's aggressive, he's a very dangerous fighter. So I think that was very KO. Did want to mention that before we move on. And also wanted to mention our guy Sizzo, who got a first-round KO in his pro debut. Our guy Andy Aguilar was very emotional, man. He's been working with him for a couple years, doing strength and conditioning. And like I stated last show, man, a lot of his fights were getting postponed, canceled. He had been meaning to make his pro debut for a while. Now he got the opportunity to make his pro debut on his home turf, man, of Saudi Arabia. So that was huge. Obviously, one of the biggest cards of the year on the zone. So big congrats to Zizzo, our guy Cesar, and our guy Andy Aguilar.
Let's go to the comments. KOing Bun says AJ needed to go for the gusto, and he didn't. He wasn't willing to get knocked out. I agree with that. I'm telling you, that was a very nerve-wracking round. If you were betting for Usyk, that was AJ's best round, and man, if he would have done that throughout the, a little bit more. Of course, you don't want to gas out, but he would have had a much better chance. Yeah, post fight, they asked him if he was content with his performance. Obviously, he's never going to be happy unless he wins, but you can only feel like if he would have taken more chances, like you said, 2 or 3 more of those, and you never know.
Yeah, but look, like when people say he could have done this, he could have done that. He has a great boxer in front of him. It's tiring, man. As a big dude, obviously he kind of randomly said it there in his post-fight rant. But look, this guy's a big dude. He's not gonna be able to hang with a guy the size of Usyk and the skill of Usyk. So, yeah, people can say he could have done this, he could have done that, but I think he did what he could, and that was not good enough. So, going for broke, hey, maybe he needed a little bit more of Robert in his ear, right? To tell him, go for it, you're losing. But, yeah, I think that's probably the regret that he's going to have, and we'll see how he bounces back. I'm assuming it's going to be a fight in the UK in front of 40,000, 50,000 people, and and he'll fight a guy who would probably be a favorable matchup, and he'll bounce back with a win. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see how that heavyweight division develops. But ultimately, decent show there. Not too much on the undercard. I know some guys had some criticism. I don't like saying names, but I saw a few pros complaining about it, and the funniest one, I'm just gonna mention him because I thought the funniest one, the Flair Cobbs, obviously got a huge win against Maurice Hooker a couple weeks ago. On his Instagram story, he recorded some of the undercard fights and literally say, who the fuck are these guys? I thought that was hilarious, but yeah, not much on the undercard, honestly.
What was he saying? They were just mismatches, or were they just like
I don't know.
guys that got out?
It was two random guys, and he was like, who the fuck are these guys? No disrespect to those guys. I don't know who it was, but yeah, I didn't know too many guys on the undercard. But anyway, before we get out of here, go ahead.
Was it this card, Gio? Was it this card where one girl got socked and she quit?
I don't know. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I just remember seeing somebody getting punched in the first round, and not even like a knockout type of punch. It was just more like, oh, landed clean. Not for me. I'm out. Like a no mas.
Dang. Yeah, I did want to mention the other fight. I don't want to butcher the name, so I'm gonna look it up real quick. But there was some good heavyweight action. I'm going on BoxRec right now. Alexander Usyk 20-0, 13 KOs. So, yeah, he beat Derek Chisora before Joshua, which it's all right. It's not too bad, but yeah, I'm trying to find the names of these the heavyweights. I don't know, Chris, if you have them off the top of your head, but that fight was decent. Let me see. Entertain the people, Chris, while I find it.
Yeah, no, there's one got to do better, man. They be having some questionable opening.
Yeah, the commentators are terrible too. I was annoyed, but anyway.
Who was it? Was it anybody that we know?
It was the usual guys. The Kenny Smith, I think, was the Brian whatever, and then Chris Algieri, which wasn't too bad, but
Chris Algieri did the main event, no?
Yeah. He was good, but the other guys, man, it's hard to listen to. Philip Hrgovic against Zhilei Zhang. And that's a Chinese heavyweight. Big dude, man. Big dude. He was coming in at 24-0, and he actually lost. Hrgovic was undefeated, too, 14-0. But that was kind of surprising. I expected the giant Chinese fighter to win. He's 6'6", man. 6'6", and he's been in a lot of these undercards, and he's not bad. He was 21-0, 19 KOs, and surprisingly, he lost a decision. But yeah, other than that, not too much on that DAZN undercard. Not too much. Well, I guess they have Canelo Triple G. They're gonna have Bivol Zurdo in November. So once a month, they'll have something to entertain us with.
Yeah, and Gio, do you want to know how much Usyk and Joshua made?
Please. Well, let me guess before you tell us.
All right, guess. It's
so we're talking about guaranteed or projected or
at the end when everything's counted, approximate.
Okay.
And it's a 50-50 per split. So
Big Bro says Hrgovic is overrated. He did not win that fight. B says he lost that fight. I think I went to go buy ice before that fight ended, so I didn't see all the rounds, but it was it wasn't bad when I was watching it. Okay. Let's say projected. I'm gonna say Joshua, Saudi Arabia. I'm gonna say 50. Usyk 15.
No, it's way more.
Did Usyk rob somebody? Did Usyk rob the promoters? What did he get?
Nah, they're getting the bag. After sponsorships, it's saying here that Joshua will end up getting $75 million.
Oh well, sponsorships. I mean, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 per split. 75 million for fighters.
How did? Oh my God, Usyk came up, dude. Oh my goodness. This dude
Dude, they
brought.
got money there, man. They got money in Saudi Arabia.
Hey, I'm happy for him. This dude brought in probably 10% of the fans and walked away with 50%. That's great business for him. He deserves it, though. He deserves it. That's crazy. Hey, keep fighting over there. Do your thing. That's what I'm saying earlier. It don't matter where they fight, man. Wherever they get paid, that's where you got to go.
Yeah, tell your boy Zizzo, hey, yo, man, there's money there. Make sure you get your little check.
Big Bro says, I heard it was 35 guaranteed. B
35
says,
guaranteed, but yeah, afterwards, they're both going to net closer to 75 million each.
B says, Usyk took that U.S. military funding money. Man, that's wild. That's a lot of money. Zurdo and Bivol better get that bag, dude. I know they're not like big names, but they better get more than 10 at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get out of here, I do want to mention there was also action on ESPN. I wasn't too excited about the main event. Of course, the Vaquero Emmanuel Navarrete got another KO win, as expected, right? No surprise. Did face some adversity in that fight, but ultimately it ended like it should have. Also want to congratulate our boy Austin Brooks, unanimous decision over Oliver Galicia, who we call his fights actually here in the local shows Oliver Galicia, who was undefeated. And then Austin Brooks beat him easily, knocked him down, won every round. Looks good, man. Austin Brooks is looking good. I don't know if you caught that fight, Chris.
Yeah, that was a good fight. I think he was getting a lot of criticism for his previous fight. I don't know if he went back and he heard the commentary, but he came out looking good. Like you said, great behind the jab, great speed against a guy that, like you said, he had a winning record, but not at his level. So, yeah, it was a, like you said on our post, it was an underrated fight. Very, very good experience for him and good win.
Big Bro says that arena for Zurdo Bivol going to be empty. Bivol says Bivol going to work that, man. Dude, who's... I mean, look, we know the Brits travel well, and that's why you're able to put an Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia or anywhere else, right? For Bivol and Zurdo, hey, good luck, man. Good luck. Good luck filling in those seats.
Hey, I'm telling you, the British are the Mexican whites, man. They love their football and they love their boxing. So, shit, they get behind their fighters, man. So,
yeah, and then Big Bro says Bivol, easy money. Woo! Yeah, I think the only advantage that Zurdo has is advantage as far as Bivol's last opponent, right? He fought Canelo. He fought a much smaller man, lighter. Zurdo's a big dude, 6'2", 6'3", southpaw, right? He can make that work to his advantage. But yeah, I think Bivol wins. I think if Bivol comes in looking like the Bivol that beat Canelo and the Bivol that beat all the guys he has faced in his career, then yeah, I think he should win that fight. But I think the storyline is interesting, right? Oscar de la Hoya's fighter. They've been promoting it as, he's going to get revenge for Mexico and this and that. And they're trying to build Zurdo. He's like 42, 43-0 or whatever he is now. Bunch of wins, 0 losses, but hasn't faced any big names really. And he always looks good because, I mean, his opponents are tailor-made for him, right? But yeah, I think Bivol should be the favorite in that, and we'll discuss that fight as we get closer. That fight is in November. Big Bro says Vaquero was looking bad. And then he also mentioned Indolfo, El Robert fighter. That was a fight of the night. Dude, that was brutal. That was a brutal fight. And Indolfo looked very, very good.
Yeah, no, that was two guys that, they're both at a crossroads where a win elevates one to a different level. His opponent was undefeated too, right? Bunch of wins as well?
Yes, I believe so. And I'm going to look up the exact record right now because I remember when I checked it last week, this was poised to be the fight of the night when you looked at those matchups. Lopez was on it. Congrats to him. He's also doing strength and conditioning here with our guy Andy Aguilar, our guy Mark, and Coach G. She sent a message to us saying, "Look, we have a 100% KO ratio this year. All the fighters who are working with them strength and conditioning have won by KO this year." So, hey, that's impressive. Obviously, a lot of guys still are not giving El Venado a chance, still not getting in the ring with him. But, hey, if you keep putting guys in front of him like this, he's going to keep stopping them. So, the Warringtons of the world, any other champions out there, I know he's been calling Warrington out for a while. They're not mentioning his name, but he's still looking good.
Yeah, now he's got that awkward style that nobody wants to fight him.
And they were criticizing him. Timmy was like, he's doing too much. And then he knocks him out. And then Timmy gets happy and forgets all the criticism. But, hey, I mean, I think he was looking good, man.
Yeah. And anytime you get a knockout, you erase everything they say, So keep doing that. Keep getting knockouts. Eventually, they're not going to be able to hide anywhere. Just like Lara, I believe he's got Lee Wood. Eventually, they're going to have to, turn up. So, yeah, they're doing something right over there, man. Doing something right.
Lindolfo Delgado. He's now 16-0, 13 KOs. He was facing Omar Alejandro Aguilar, who was 24-0, 23 KOs. So, but he got worked by Lindolfo. He got worked. Yeah, that was pretty bad for him.
You just saw Lindolfo, the more polished fighter there.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that wasn't a bad card. I just wish the main event was a little better. But yeah, we have more action coming up, I think, on ESPN. Pedraza against Comey. The undercard looks very interesting. I'm going to look it up here. I have it pulled up. Pedraza Comey, I'm not very interested in that main event. That's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But on the undercard, Jared Anderson is on there, heavyweight, against Miljan Grovkanen. Never heard of him, but good heavyweight action. Richard Torres Jr. Another heavyweight is also on there. Efe Ajagba is also on there. So, yeah, they got some interesting names on there. Like I said, main event, it's all right. Could be better. And then following week, September 4th in L.A., Fox pay-per-view, Andy Ruiz Jr. against Luis Ortiz. The undercard isn't too bad, man. It's on pay-per-view, so they got to give the people something. Your boy, your top 5, dead or alive, Isaac Cruz, El People. He's fighting Eduardo Ramirez. Never heard of him either, but he's fighting him. El Rayo, Jose Valenzuela is fighting Jezreel Corrales. And then your boy, Abner Mares is back against Miguel Flores. So,
and I don't claim him. I don't claim Abner.
Joey Spencer is also on there. So, yeah, they got some good names. And then you can't forget September 8th, San Jose, Costa Rica, The Zone. Yocasta Valle, now training with Coach G, with Andy Aguilar and Mark out here in L.A. Fighting for Wynn's WBO strawweight title. And then Sonia Osorio against Adelaida La Cobra Ruiz on that undercard, the rematch. So, good action coming up. September heating up, of course. Canelo fighting in September with Gennady Golovkin, September 17th. And yeah, Bam Rodriguez on the undercard. Ali Akhmedov on the undercard. Austin Williams on that undercard. Diego Pacheco on the undercard. Mark Castro on the undercard. So, yeah, it's shaping well for the last couple months, man.
Yeah, something to hold us off till World Cup. Hey, so by Coach G standards, Yocasta has to get a knockout too, huh?
She has to get it. Man.
The pressure's been set.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, with Navarrete, man, I'm not gonna be excited to see any of his fights until he fights like a Ray Vargas or a Brandon Figueroa, those guys. So, yeah, man, he's gonna fight some names, man. He's a good fighter, blue chip fighter. So, get him in there with some big names.
Yep. All right, and I think that's all I got, man. RX Speed says, don't really care about any other fights. The biggest card already happened. He's coding you, Chris.
Heavyweight. There's nothing like heavyweights, man.
Too bad they didn't
Canelo
fight
lost.
like heavyweights, man.
There's no fight like heavyweights. That's a casual comment right there.
Big Bro says, Venado, another impressive KO. Warrington, stay ducking. First Lara, and now Venado. Yeah. Warrington don't want it. Them Brits they're getting smarter, man. I don't know why they be taking Mexicans over to England thinking they're going to get easy fights, man. I think they're getting smarter. They don't want to fight these guys anymore. But yeah, that's that, man. Great show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, Chris brought the hot takes as always. And yeah, we'll be back soon, Chris.
A 200th episode, man. Heavyweight episode. And still very feel. Vámonos.
Hey, before there was also action, and I know before we get out of here, our guy Derek sent us the video of Brandon Lee getting knocked down. I don't know if you saw that. That was crazy. That was a bad knockdown, but he ended up winning pretty much like every round. But Brandon Lee, man, great prospect, great power, great young fighter, and got knocked down bad.
Yeah, that's bad. It's sometimes you get these flash knockdowns, but that one just looked bad. And when you're like a up and coming welterweight, everybody's talking about, oh, is he the next one? Can he make noise? That's a bad look. So he's gonna have to tuck that chin in, man, and work on that D.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you saw the one on Thompson Boxing that was circling social media. I know Derek sent us that one too. When a fighter got knocked down, Chris, and I'll put it on the video, and I'll post a clip of it. Fighter got knocked down, kind of got tripped, kind of got his toe stepped on, fell backwards. Referee counted it as a knockdown. He got up, he complained, and then when the referee told both guys to fight after he counted the knockdown, he was still kind of complaining, tried to touch gloves with his opponent, and they touched gloves, and then an immediate left hook followed. What do you think about that, Mayweather style?
Hey, protect yourself at all times. That's how I went 2-0 against RXP. You gotta keep your hands up, bro.
Do you condone that type of behavior?
Nah, that's unsportsmanlike. That happens where people touch gloves, and you give yourself enough of a break to where you restart the action. But yeah, that one was like a quick touch and boom, quick. What was it? A left hook, if I'm not mistaken.
Have you guys seen it in the comment section? Maybe I can just pull it up. Because look, I don't think he did anything wrong. I just wouldn't do that. Like he didn't break any rules.
Yeah.
But that's that. I don't know. I think there's unwritten rules and yeah, I wouldn't do it if I was a fighter. I wouldn't do it.
We've seen where like fighters, they either trip or there's something in the action where they bump hands and then they give themselves like a second to engage in action. But this guy just boom, like it was a 1-2. The first one was just the quick little, we good? Boom. The other guy was too relaxed though. That's why he's got to no te puedes confiar. So
yeah, I'm trying to find it here. So yeah, I don't know, promote some stuff or tell people where to follow us.
Like the we'll talk. Let's talk about we'll do it real quick. The Mayweather or Victor Ortiz, like that one. Victor had some time to react on that second punch, but he was just being a dumbass. Sorry to say. This one, like the other guy, had no chance to react.
But wasn't he being a dumbass too? Don't you think he didn't do the smart thing?
I mean,
because you're in a fight and you're complaining and you're not protecting yourself. Like I said, I wouldn't do it if I was a fighter. Yeah. But I mean, it's on him too. He didn't protect himself.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I wouldn't do that either.
I mean, Victor was
But-
trying to kiss Mayweather on the cheek, or I don't know what he was trying to do. This guy was just complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Protect yourself, man. You already know that guy's like, not the. It's a fight. It's a fight. So protect yourself at all times. Fucked up, but protect yourself.
Yeah, continue, Chris.
But still looking for the clip. Still looking for the clip. Yeah, but no. Again, it's we got one more big fight on the horizon. I know our Speed is looking forward to that all year. Triple G versus Canelo. It's gonna draw in the most viewers. It's gonna bring in the casuals. It's gonna bring in the true fans as well. It might be competitive for the first couple rounds, so there might be more action. But we'll see, man. Again, Canelo's in a different level. There's a reason why he's still having number one. So he's
All right.
yeah, it's gonna be a good fight, but it's not gonna last.
All right, so it's kind of laggy here, but let's see if we can get this here so you guys can see it. All right. So they're watching it on their screen. Guy gets knocked. Oh, well, he's already knocked out there. And it was a bad KO too. He got stiff. He didn't know where he was. Let's see if this is going to allow me to even play it. All right, here we go. Look. He gets kind of tripped. You can't see it from that angle, but he complains about it. And then here goes when the referee's counting. Says you're good. Cleans his gloves. All right, let's fight. He's complaining. Boom. Just like that. Laid him out. And here's another angle. Touch gloves. Wow. Crazy, isn't it? Like I said, if I'm a fighter, I wouldn't do it. But, yeah, you still got to protect yourself at all times. I don't know. I just saw that clip going around. Some people sent it to us, too. Yeah, I don't know. You don't see it very often, but that was a very brutal KO.
Yeah. And you said this was a Thompson boxing event? Man.
Correct, but I don't want to promote them, so let's get out of here.
Oh, that's bad.
His fault. Hands all down, says Big Bro. Yeah. Yeah. And then I think both of them were wrong, but no rules were broken, so you can't hold it against the guy who landed that quick left hook. Didn't even seem like he got hit that hard.
I'll tell you who I'd rather be.
I'll tell you who I'd rather be. All right, well, we're out of here for real this time. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week. And thank you guys for keeping that chat lit. Thank you guys, mates.
Peace.
Thank you, mates. See you soon. Let's go, AJ. Let's go, Mike.
Michael, you already know I said I'm a fun guy.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Echenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Against the Ropes. Huge shout out to Against the Ropes. Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview, and hope to see you very soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.